seagulls squawking as they settled down for the night. You've always loved the ocean. It was so much fun. You loved to hear the stories about the sea, about the merfolk and sea serpents you imagined living far beneath the waves. You didn't enjoy the beach all that much, especially the sand, which got absolutely everywhere. So, my homegirl Paige loves the ocean. Sometimes Lizzie would join you, the two of you splashing each other in the waves. Those were the best days, the best days, the best days. You took in a deep breath. You wanted to try and relax and couldn't. You weren't sure what, but something told you that you weren't alone. So you glanced around. I love the music. It gets so dramatic so quick. There was a boy sitting at the top of one hill, almost completely hidden within the long grass and white flowers surrounding him. His head was buried in his knees, staring ahead by himself. For whatever reason, probably just that he wasn't paying attention, he hadn't noticed you yet. You watched him a minute longer, feeling a little bit like you'd found a deer in the wild, though deer didn't have green hair, wavy eyebrows, huge glasses, pink casts, or sad frowns. I'm gonna say, I don't really know the significance to this question or this option, but I'm gonna say huge glasses. But this new boy did. You watched as he pushed them up the bridge of his nose with a finger. After a few more seconds, you took a step forward, then another, and then he glanced your way. His aquamarine eyes reflected the light of the moon. You stopped, raising a hand to acknowledge him and show you weren't scary. Hi. Hey, Space Cadet. Are you lost? We're gonna say hi, the simple greeting. With a start, he jumped to his feet, his hands balling into fists at his sides. He didn't say anything, just stared at you in a strange way. He'd been crying. There were traces of tears on his cheeks and his knees, soaking the hem of his shorts, and his eyes were still shining with a few more. You'd obviously caught him off guard. His pink cast seemed to glow in the twilight, though when he caught you staring at it, he hid his arm behind his back. Something the man earlier had said stuck out to you. Goph. Eyes wide, he studied you. How'd you know that? You touched the money in your pocket, feeling it crinkle beneath your fingertips. That's some dirty money right there. I met your dad. I'm all-knowing. Lucky guess. I am going to be honest. Oh, he looked so disappointed with the mention of his dad. So, is this your hill? He gestured with his uninjured arm to the patch of grass surrounding you, his face falling at the prospect. I can leave if it is. Yep. You can't own a hill. You shook your head. I'm going to say... Shake your head. While doing so, you also picked at a strand of lint on your leg. What a weird question to ask someone. Oh. He sat back down with a thump, resting his chin on his knees again. Curious about the strange new boy with the odd dad, you sat on the patch of grass next to him. The pure white flowers that covered this hill rocked back and forth as the stars twinkled above. The way they dotted the sky made them seem like flowers, too. The night wind was cool as it traveled over the ocean and up the hill, chasing away the heat from the afternoon sun. Why are you here? Why'd your family move? I'm gonna ask him why he chose to sit on the hill over here. A quiet hiccup escaped Cove as soon as you asked the question. Almost like they'd never stopped, his stare started up again with a vengeance. My parents, they don't want to live together with me anymore. The tears fell fast and heavy over his flushed cheeks, sticking in his dark lashes. My mom made my dad leave, and he took me with him, and now we have a house here, and I want to go home. The outburst took you off guard. By the time he was done wailing, Cove's chest was heaving with exhaustion. He sniffled and removed his glasses, wiping at his eyes with the back of his hand before he put them back on again. I hate this place. I want my real life back. I want my mom. I'm sorry. Your dad seems kinda nice. You'll like it here, you just have to get used to it. Stop crying. I am going to be short. I'm sorry is appropriate in this situation. He slipped his hands underneath his glasses and pressed his fingers against his eyelids. Cove wound himself up again for another long crying fit. You felt bad for him, being forced to come here with no choice. You couldn't imagine what it would feel like to live with only one of your moms, but it must be pretty hard. But from way off in the distance, you heard your parents. Paige! Cove! Kids, where'd you go? Cove looked at you, tears still clinging to his cheeks. Don't tell them we're here. I don't want to go back to that house. I want to go home. You can handle it. You have to go. Don't worry so much. Sorry, I have to. It'll be okay. Okay, let's kind of like encourage him a little bit. Tell him he can handle it. Let's see. You can handle it, and even if you can't, he's your dad, right? Yeah, he is. Dusting the grass off of your pants, you stood up. So you didn't come here by yourself or with a stranger. He's got to take care of you no matter what. Slowly, Cove stood up with you, still looking a little reluctant. His dad's voice rang out again. Cove, can you hear me? He looked toward the sound of his dad's voice, silent, then turned away while rubbing his not bandaged arm. Sorry, I still don't want to go. You called out yourself. You waited silently with him, or you tried to convince him. Since my character's shy, she has to wait silently with him. Yeah, I get it. You do. Before you could answer, you heard Cove's dad, even closer than before. There you are, bud. The trio of parents appeared over the curve of the hill. Instantly, all their eyes landed on you, and they rushed over. Both of your moms were at your side in a split second, faces filled with worry. I love the way the characters look. I love the moms. Paige, you're here after all. We had been at the park to check for Cove and then heard what happened earlier when you met the new neighbor. I thought you might have gone off further away. No, we were just sitting in the grass. Why is everybody acting like this is such a big thing? We're okay, don't worry. Cove didn't want to go home just yet. I'm gonna be nonchalant. No, we were just sitting in the grass. Whoops. Thank God you're both fine. Were you two having fun out here? You looked over at Cove, who was wiggling against his dad's tight hug and pushing at his arms. You shrugged. Yes, I like him. He's good. I think I'm gonna marry him. I love this last option so much. But she's just gonna say, she's got that social anxiety and shit. You didn't think that was the right word to describe it, but weren't sure what else to say to your moms. Finally, letting go of his squirming, scowling son, Cove's dad turned to the three of you. Thanks very much for finding him. I really don't know this neighborhood. Good thing Paige knows this whole area so well. Absolutely. We should be getting home now. It's been a long day for us all. Say goodbye, Cove. Bye. The two of them walked off into the darkness, heading towards the neighborhood. You watched Cove's bright pink cast until it disappeared. Tell you what, we'll have a proper play date tomorrow, okay? Your new friend's dad wanted to bring him by to see you and Lizzie. How does that sound? Sure, I can show him my stuff. It sounds like words. You nodded, ducking your head down. I'm gonna duck my head down. Both of your moms laughed, the sounds overlapping into a warm, familiar chorus. Mommy put her arm around your shoulder and led you towards the path. Satisfied and more than a little ready to go to bed after your long, exciting day, you followed them home. Ooh, I love this part. Choose your feelings for Cove. This is how you feel towards Cove for this step. It can change in later steps. Okay. My character. I've already decided that Paige is going to have a nervous crush on Cove. I love the facial expressions. If you go direct, relaxed, nervous, indifferent, fond, crush. I love it. She's blushing. Let's go. Let's do this. Begin step 1 at nervous crush. You won't be able to change it again until step 2. I'm sure. The next morning, you finished your breakfast so fast that you got a tummy ache. Your sister Lizzie had run out earlier to go play, but you stayed put. Today, just like your moms had promised, Cove was coming over to hang out. That smile. It looks like she has some type of plan. Excited to see your new friend again, Paige. I'm excited. Isn't that just the sweetest thing? I bet the two of them are going to be great playmates. See, looks like she has something cooked up. With that said, are you done with your breakfast? Yeah. I don't know, am I? Your bowl was entirely empty, so you nodded. Yes, this girl, she ate her food. Good job, he should be here soon. Cleanup began, and then on cue, there was a knock. It was hesitant, like the person wasn't sure they were in the right place. Still loud though. We need to get a more obvious doorbell. I know. Paige, could you get it? You practically leapt out of your chair on the way to the door. Someone's excited. Hey, Maple family, thanks for having us. Mr. Holden, as your moms have called him, and his son were here. Cove looked different in the bright lighting of your living room and when he wasn't crying. With his dad standing in front of him and mommy behind you, you and Cove looked at each other. Pleased to see the interesting new boy again, you smiled at Cove. Cove returned it shyly. You twisted the threaded bracelet on your wrist. You twisted the crystal bracelet on your wrist. You twisted the flower bead bracelet on your wrist. Or you twisted the shell bracelet on your wrist. I don't really care about the thread or crystal? You know what, let's do crystal bead bracelet on your wrist. Do you want to see my room? Okay. Let us know if you need anything, you do. Have fun, kids. See ya later, son. Play nice. You led him to your room, puffing out your chest a little bit at the sight of your treasures. There were lots of stuffed animals, a cool bed, a window to look out. It was a great room. You hadn't had anyone to show it to in a while, but you were really proud of it. He leaned in a little closer to one of your drawings on the wall. I like this. Me too. I drew that. Thank you. I don't. She's just gonna be polite. You're welcome. You smiled at him. You were proud of that particular piece of art, and you were glad he noticed it. Which one is it? Is it this one? Or that one? Or that one? They're all colorful and cute. Or maybe it's that one. He turned to look around the room a little more, studying the books on your desk and the pictures on the walls. You started to feel a bit nervous. You felt the atmosphere was kind of awkward. You were glad for the company. You hoped he liked your room. Since she's shy, she has to choose one or two. Nervous or awkward? Let's go with nervous. You wanted to say something but didn't know what, so you let him keep looking. Then his eyes landed on the tiny box of beach things you'd collected, tucked away by your door. He took a step towards it before hesitating and pointing at it instead. What's that? A hoard of stuff I found on the beach. Do you have any driftwood in there? Dragging the box into the middle of the room, you and Cove flopped down next to it. Flopped. I just picture them going like dead. Okay. Yeah. You gestured to a piece at the bottom, still covered with specks of sand. Neat. This is a good collection. You got the sense from the tone of his voice that he wasn't just saying it to be nice or to be like Shiloh. He actually meant it. Shiloh is coming over. Shiloh. My sister's friend. He wants to, meet you. Do I have to see him? It'll be okay, I think. Here, I found this shell in a log, and you pulled out seashell after seashell, explaining where you'd gotten each one and holding them up against the light. There were big ones, small ones, pink, purple, orange. Most of them washed off in the bathroom sink when you brought them home, cleaning off the sand. Over the past few years, you learned some of their scientific names. The collection was so huge and varied that you had lots of funny stories to tell for all of them. Your voice faltered a little bit, but you kept going as best you could. Her voice has to falter. It's the antisocial option. You were really proud of your shell collection, and it made you happy that Cove was interested in it too. Apparently fascinated either by the stories or by the shells themselves, Cove listened with what looked like the full force of his attention. It was a new experience to be the center of such dedicated focus. For some reason, it was making your cheeks feel warm. You had never felt like this around someone before. It was kind of weird. Kids, come down to the living room. You could tell the idea was making him unhappy, but Mommy wasn't going to give you much of a chance to hang around. Cove hadn't been like this meeting you. You guessed it was because he thinks you found each other by accident, not that a parent paid you under the table and told you to keep it a secret. Mr. Holden must be right that telling Cove his dad was part of that would be a bad idea. Before you knew it, you'd both been escorted downstairs and deposited in the living room, ready for Shiloh's visit. The two of you sat side by side on the floor of your home's entryway. I brought the box of shells. I want to keep looking at them. he's just looking for a distraction so he doesn't have to converse with Shiloh, but okay. I'm gonna say either great, okay, but be careful, or you should have asked. I'm gonna say great. Busted open, we can keep looking while we wait for Shiloh. Cove reached in and pulled out a big orange shell. Oh. Like he hadn't spoken aloud yet, he turned to you and held it up, his eyes shining. I think this one is the best of them. That's my favorite too. I like a different one best. I can show it to you. You can take it. Okay, so in my last playthrough of this episode, I said you can take it because I know from experience that if you are antisocial and people come over, you may give them stuff because it's just like word vomit. I know how that is. I give people shit all the time when they come over. I don't know why. Cove looked at you in surprise, his eyes going wide. Really? Sure, you like it a lot, right? But I don't want to take it from you. It's okay. You got the impression he was hesitant to accept something because he didn't know you very well. You insisted or you let it go. I don't care, so Paige is gonna let it go. Okay. You didn't want to pressure Cove too much. It was supposed to make him happy, not nervous. Plus, Cove is your neighbor now. Maybe you could give it to him another time. The two of you were still sitting on the floor looking through your collection of beach findings when the doorbell finally rang. Cove jumped, startled by the sound. Since the person had knocked, you figured it was probably Shiloh. He knew where to look for that. Lizzie's friend. You nodded, but that didn't seem to make Cove feel better. It was already obvious that Cove didn't hide his feelings well. You could tell what he was thinking right away. Yeah, he looks unhappy. This isn't a good idea. I'm sorry, there's nowhere to go. He's at our only door, and if you go upstairs, he'll find you. Cove glanced around the room, his eyes wide, and finally paused with his gaze locked onto the back of the house. I can go out the window. He was already walking towards it. Scrambling to think of something to say, you stepped forward, then paused. Do you want to break your other arm? Shiloh is the least scary person alive. Cheer up, Shiloh's gonna like you. Please don't get hurt. I'll come with you. Good idea, let's go. So, let's see. I'm just gonna say Shiloh is the least scary person alive. Every single bunny rabbit is scarier than Shiloh. But I don't want to see him. I don't know him. You teased him, you comforted him, or you encouraged him. It sounds like Cove needs some encouragement, because he's pretty shy as well. Trust me, you'll be okay. Okay. Shiloh poked his head into the living room. It was impossible to know for sure if he'd heard what you'd been saying or not, but you guessed that he had. Hi, Paige. And hi, Cove. Cove shot you an uneasy glance. Hi. I'm Shiloh. It's nice to meet you. Yeah. You have a lot of freckles. Right, I do. What are you guys doing? We're looking at shells. Oh, so cute. Awesome, can I do it too? Cove shrugged, then looked back at your box of beach findings. What about that one? The plan for the afternoon, at least as far as you were concerned, was to sit and look at the beach things some more. You weren't really in the mood to do much of anything else, especially if Cove was having fun. Ooh. You held out a recent find to Cove, a scallop shell that had washed up on shore. It's a pretty color, kind of like my cast. The beautiful glittering pink did look a little bit like the wrap around his arm. Beautiful glittering pink. Pink is a nice color. Okay. Is it your favorite? Not really. What is? Maybe green or blue. It might be yellow. Oh, those are all cool. I guess. God, Cove is so rude. I like those colors too. There are better colors. Not sure how to deal with the suddenly more awkward silence. You look back at your shells. Like usual, it didn't take long for Shiloh to get fidgety. Lizzie was his favorite. Without her around, Shiloh didn't seem to know what to do with himself. And Cove wasn't like your sister. He wasn't that much like you either. Is Lizzie coming back? 'Cause this guy sucks, is what he wanted to say. Don't know. Oh, where'd she go? I think she's at the beach, probably. Is she playing at her park? Cove's eyes lit up at the mention of the park, and he looked towards you. There's a park, and you didn't tell me. Yep, but it's old. Can you show me? I want to go. He started getting up before you had even answered, and Shiloh jumped up beside him in excitement. Really? You do too, right, Paige? The park is fun. I love it. The park is pretty great. No. We'll do the neutral option. The park is pretty great. Yeah, it's right at the beach, so there's lots of fun stuff to do and lots of sand. It has a jungle gym and a bunch of swings. That sounds like it would be cool. So, are we gonna find Lizzie? I don't know. I never really wanted to see her. I just want to check the park out. Adrift without any direction, Shiloh finally turned to you, the leader of the pack. Okay. He perked up. Both boys wanted to go. It was only fair. After getting permission from your moms, the three of you were ready to head out. It was a short walk to the park. Lizzie had convinced your moms that it was so short, she would always be allowed to walk there by herself. And that is where I'm gonna stop the episode. I've already filmed episode 3, 4, and 5, so if you would like to continue the story, click right here whenever it pops up. Thank you so much for watching. I love this story, and I just wanna put out good audio quality videos for you. So that's why I redid this episode as well as episode 1. I will see you in episode 6, I hope. Good night.